Maybe. Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody. I'm here with my BFF and fellow coach, Anya Grace.
And Leo.
And Leo decided to join us for our live stream. And can you guys hear us and see us okay? This looks very different than it normally does. Okay, it looks like there's some people watching. Can you guys hear us and everything? This looks totally different than it normally does. So I'm a little nervous that something isn't working, but I think it should probably be fine. And I'll just start unless we hear otherwise. So we've been getting so many requests for videos and trainings. Oh, hello. Thank you so much, everybody. This was very last minute, and we almost didn't do this, but we've just been getting so many requests for videos and maybe like a live training or a program on how to heal your relationship with your body and food, and how to look and feel more beautiful and radiant and comfortable in your own skin every day. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you guys so much. We might not even keep this video up. We were just kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, working with some new material. And we were like literally going through it and writing down notes, and we figured, let's just go live and see how some of these ideas land with you guys. So we would love your feedback on what we're about to share. And you guys all know Anya, right? Anya is just total expert at this topic. Like, I'll be honest, this is not my area of expertise at all. I need to go through my own transformation in this process too. So I haven't quite felt ready to like talk about this yet, but I'm getting there. So, oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, please keep it up. Okay. Maybe we'll keep it up if some good things come through. We really just like your feedback on this. So Anya, what's the first thing you have to say about this topic?
Yeah. So I think just mostly there are women probably that will be watching this, and we just get to first and foremost really take a moment to acknowledge how much thinking about your body on a daily basis, thinking about food, thinking about exercise, like how much does that consume your life? Because for me, for a really long time, it was literally constant. It was like the number one thought I had most of my life was, when am I going to exercise next? Will my next meal have vegetables in it? Will I be able to control my life in such a way where I can then control the way my body looks? Because for me, my entire self-worth was wrapped up in my body image. It was completely wrapped up in my body image. And I realized this topic to me is like super personal. I was writing about it for 2 hours yesterday because it was just like so much was just coming up, and it's so important. And so this is a really deep personal topic for me, and I don't usually talk about it necessarily, but I think we think it's just key. And so for me personally, I'll just share a little bit about my journey.
Yeah.
Around, I think I was 22 when I really started to see that my entire self-worth was wrapped up in my body. That I had this belief that my face wasn't beautiful enough, and that I needed to like make up for that with having a perfect body. Wow. And I'd had that belief from when I was like a kid. I had a kid in 7th grade tell me I looked like a rat, and another girl in high school. I think I was like a junior in high school, and we were on a trip and we were rooming together, and she told one of our mutual friends that she didn't want to wake up and see my ugly face. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I had these and I had the guy I had a crush on when I was this was again a 7th grade moment. 7th grade is like the worst.
Right. Oh my gosh.
We like danced one-on-one, and my friend at the time decided that we should call him and ask him if he liked me. And she was like, you should be silent on the line and I'll call him and pretend like you're not there. And so we like called him up, and I was like silent on the line, and she liked him, and that was the thing. But so she asked him if he liked me, and he said, no, who would like Anya? Oh. Yeah. And I was like 12, So like peak of my awkward stage, I had the same size smile, same size eyes, same size nose, but my face was smaller. And, so I was very insecure. And for a long time, I just had that deep inner belief, like I'm not beautiful enough. And so I decided that, but I always got attention from my body and my legs and my stomach. And so like my worth was all about my body. So
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see every time I look over here, you guys, I'm just reading the comments. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. That's why it's so important to teach young girls about self-worth. I just have to say you both have changed my life in so many ways. Oh my gosh. You're welcome. I got fit to feel better. I ended up looking better as well as feeling better. Sadly, I eventually got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and I can't do things physically like I used to. Oh my gosh. Like I have to say, I am literally going through that right now, not with an autoimmune disease, but I think you guys know, I've talked about a little bit on my channel, how I lost my ability to walk for about over 2 years and had to go through these big time surgeries and learn how to walk again. And I recently had I don't know how to describe it, and like something come up. It was like kind of like an injury, or I'm not quite sure what's going on yet, but it's bringing up a lot of that old trauma in my body and fear and anxiety of like, this familiar feeling of like, something doesn't feel right. And now it's like this decline. Like I can't walk as many steps as I could the day before. And like, okay, we can go out, but I can't walk that much. And I'm starting to like have feelings and say things like that. And it's causing a lot of anxiety and trauma for me because I'm not quite sure what's going on yet, even though I don't think it's anything major. But the point is I haven't been able to work out for quite some time now. And it's really affecting my self-esteem and my mood and how I feel. I'm going through some kind of like, what would you say? Maybe like a mild depression, mild to moderate, even though I can have a great time and feel good and laugh, genuinely laugh and have fun. I am experiencing depression like under the surface. We were driving to get a massage the other day and we were laughing really hard about something genuinely. And Anya's like, I can feel your depression right now, which is really true. It's like, it's not something I can really hide, just like being it's just hard for me to cover that up. So I totally understand what you're going through and we're going to talk about that. So what's going on with me right now is basically forcing me to change my mindset around some of these things. And I don't know how to say it, like disentangle my mood and feeling good, like disentangling that from being able to do things like walk normally and exercise and stuff like that, just for this time while I'm figuring out what's going on. So I totally feel for you. She said, I still feel beautiful. My partner feels, he's bodybuilding and the fear of him becoming attracted to me comes up. I am like right there with you. I totally understand. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I need help in this area. Basically, like if we were not such good friends and basically coaching each other all day long, I would hire a coach right now to help me with this mindset. Although to be honest, I don't know anyone who's as good as this as Anya. Like I don't know anyone who talks about things the way she does. So we would love to share all of this with you guys. So yeah, let's just continue. I know you took so many notes and we're writing so much stuff. Like what's the next thing you want to share?
Yeah, I think I just want to share a little bit more about my personal experience, just because it's the reason I feel like I can talk about this and teach this now is because we teach what we need the most. And I needed this so bad. It was probably the first thing that I really did to work on myself in such a deep way and really felt the benefits from it. It was like I had to focus on my body image and my relationship with myself. And then I focused on my relationship with men and feeling worthy. And, now I'm focusing on like another area of my life. So anyway, so where you're at right now, which is, it's just such a powerful point because you're literally like, we have these wounds underneath the surface. And then sometimes life events come in and they happen and we are forced to go get onto our knees and we're just forced to surrender. Like we don't have another option.
That's exactly how I feel.
It's ironic.
I know. I'm literally being forced to change my mindset. And so hopefully whatever we are working through together, our work together. And I know we've been getting so many requests. This is probably the number one thing outside of dating and relationships that we've been getting, especially with Anya specifically. So this is all going to be a great thing, right?
Oh, it's so key because I mean, this is a dating relationship channel, but so much of what we teach is, you feel good in yourself. And then that you attracting powerful partnership and powerful experiences in relationship will happen as a byproduct of how you feel. So it's in many ways, we have to address what's going on underneath the surface before we even implement the texting tips and the relationship tips will be so much more they'll just be so much more valuable when we go through this transformation. So don't worry about being late. We just started. So really what we're talking about is our relationship with our body. And so I had this realization when I was about 22. I'd been running competitively from age literally, I think I was 11. In 5th grade, I started running track. And I stopped dancing ballet. I was like a ballerina till 8th grade. And then I started running in middle school. And so my ballet teacher said, I can do one or the other. Like, I don't know why, but that's what so I had to make this choice, and I chose running, and I ended up running competitively through high school and for 2 years in college. And so being a runner was like my identity, and being a runner, like you're fit, you're very athletic and outdoorsy. And so that was like who I was. I was an athlete. And so my identity was wrapped up in this physical box, really. And then my second year of college, like running stopped doing what it used to do. It didn't make me feel the relief. I was gaining, I think I gained like 10, the freshman 15 or whatever. Like that totally happened to me. My body started changing. I was starting to be super stressed out in school. So I was literally binge eating like almost every single night, like stealing peanut butter from my roommates, like, just eating. And I felt out of control, and I was so unhappy because I felt so unworthy. Like I was so insecure that my body was changing. This was the one thing that made me beautiful, the one thing that made me attractive, and now that was going away. So it was a really brutal point. And then I realized that I hope this is okay. I'm just telling my story.
Yeah,
is this helpful? I don't know. We'll get to like some tips, but I think this is important backstory. So, and then I finally realized that like my deeper desire was to attract a man who would be accepted by my family. And in order to attract a man who would be accepted by my family, I thought I needed to look a certain way. And so then I put all this pressure on myself to look that way. And I was controlling my body in a way that was so detrimental and damaging to it. So I was just forced. I was like, I cry. I have an emotional breakdown every single time. Like if I skip a day of running, I will have an emotional breakdown. Like I was so addicted to exercise between ages, 12 to 22 for 10 years. I could not survive without it. And it got in the way of my life. Like my family, we grew up on the river. I grew up river guiding, which is a really random thing. I can talk about it later. But when I was guiding and we were out in nature, in the outdoors for like 3, 4, 5, 6 nights in a row, and I couldn't do my daily exercise routine, I would always have an emotional breakdown. It was getting in the way of my relationships. And so I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to think about food all the time. I don't want to think about exercise all the time. I don't want to look in the mirror every morning and feel bad about my body. Like the first thing I would do, and I think most women do this, is lift up their shirt in the morning and look at their abs and like judge themselves. The first thing that we do.
We were talking about it at dinner the other night. That same way, we were like, we're constantly at war with ourselves. And I didn't realize that because I would always just work out, like a couple hours a day, not to try and control. I never was really obsessive about food or anything, but I just did it because there's something to do, and it just made me feel good. And now not being able to do that, I'm like, wow, we're constantly at war with ourselves. And I think pretty much every woman out there, I don't really know too many women who don't have these thoughts going on. So can I read a couple of these comments?
You guys, what I'm saying is amazing.
Yes, forced to surrender. That's how this relationship manifested. I surrendered to what unfolded. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Relationships don't mean the end of the journey. Yeah, just the beginning. They're just the beginning. This is so timely for me, suffering from a knee injury at the moment. Haven't been able to work out either. Oh my gosh, like I'm right there with you. I've been feeling so discouraged about it because working out is my life. Yeah, that's why I think I have this kind of low-level depression thing going on right now. That's like, obviously that affects other areas too. Hi, everyone. Well, yes, Anya, this is so powerful. Yes, why worry about the how-to in romantic relationships until you heal the relationships and challenges with yourself first? Yeah. Controlling the body is something I can no longer do. I have to transform my perception. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at right now. So yeah, absolutely. How can feminine energy be used to embrace body image during PMS or time of the month? Wow, that's a great question. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Everything. So the last 2 comments are perfect for so I gave you guys the backstory of like, why, but so really it caused me to go on this journey of like, I want to be free of food, and I want to feel good in my body without needing to be dependent on exercise and without being able to eat whatever I want. And so I started to know that the only way this would happen is if I expanded my container for what was beautiful, really. And I'll explain what that means. But So just on an energetic standpoint, the goddess energy is dynamic, and feminine energy is dynamic. It goes up, it goes down, it goes out, it goes left, it goes right. It's like literally all over the board. And that's our power as women. It's not linear. We're not straightforward. We're confusion and chaos. Like at our deepest core power, we're uncontrollable. and that's, we all hold that as human beings. And so what happens, we are in this society where we are told on a deep subconscious level, the subconscious is the realm of the feminine. So anything that comes in through your eyes, ears, is coming in through your consciousness. And it's your consciousness is the masculine. And the masculine is like a seed planting itself into the subconsciousness. And then the subconsciousness grows. And whatever grows in the subconscious creates your life. So if you're receiving images from media that is saying you need to look a certain way, that's coming in through your consciousness, your eyes, your ears, it's planting a seed in your subconscious of doubt, of insecurity, not matching up. And then you start to birth that reality in your life, and you start to like that belief system just is this, it's like a plethora. Whatever gets planted in the subconscious mind, the goddess will grow with that. So what we have to do is really start to see that we've been brainwashed and we've been fully manipulated and exploited by media as a way to make the feminine power within us less, to try to basically suppress the feminine power within, so that the forces, this is very metaphysical and esoteric, but I'm just going to, whatever. This is casual, and I'm just going to be free.
Yeah. I'm loving it. That's awesome. It's
awesome. When women are not operating at their fullest power, the forces that want what women have, but can't get it without us, can more easily come in and take it without us knowing that that's even happening. So, a huge thing I talk about a lot is, yes, we need to, ask ourselves, what do we do about sex trafficking and rape and all the imbalances between the masculine and feminine? What do we do about it? But when we ask the question first, why is it happening? Why is it happening in the first place? We get to the most important answer, which is that there's something within the feminine, there's something within the woman that is so strong and so powerful that these external forces in the world need to take it. If we didn't have something that was so powerful, our sexuality, our energy, our body, our beauty, that men didn't crave so much, I'm not demonizing men, but the toxic masculine didn't need and crave so much, why would sex trafficking, why would rape, why would abuse, why would all these things happen in the first place if we didn't hold something that was so valuable? And that's what we need to start looking at as women is, yeah, of course you want of course you want to be a part of this. Like, I'm Shakti. I am the goddess. I am literally the most powerful force in the universe. I'm sacred and precious. I love that. Mm-hmm. And divine. And so, but we've been manipulated by social media to feel disposable and to feel objectified. And that's literally the opposite of the essence of the feminine. So this is my passion. Literally was crying about this yesterday because I was feeling it so deeply. Mm-hmm. I have more to say, but I want to pause and see if you have anything to say on this.
Let's see what everyone has to say. I used to care about my looks, but I was lacking self-confidence. But when I started working on my inner beauty, that has changed my life. Now my friends are telling me I'm beautiful inside out. Yeah, mm-hmm. So you have that figured out. And that's what we're hoping. That's where I'm hoping to get. That's what we're hoping to help everybody with. I can't seem to get my belly fat down for the first time in my life. It's making me depressed. Yeah, I can. That's that thing of tying your worth and yourself, mm-hmm. your mood to something physical. And Anya is, oh my gosh, such a genius at this. Everything she has to say on that is it's like pure gold. Exploited feminine in women has been suppressed, and it's been to our detriment. Thank you for being so honest about this. Anya, is such a vital conversation. We are precious. Yeah. So are you pulling up your notes?
Yeah, I have my journal right here. Okay. My journal on my computer.
I'm resonating deeply with your passion. Inspiration creates more inspiration. Authenticity is the greatest beauty. Yeah.
Wow. And what Free Spirit said, the feminine in women has been suppressed. And we just like, I really recommend you guys go journal about that. Like ask the universe, ask your higher self, why has the feminine in me been suppressed? Why has the feminine in the world been suppressed? Because I can tell you why I think it has been, but it will be so much more powerful for you to ask that question. Because when you ask the question, the answers will come to you, and they'll come in the way that will be most empowering and healing for you. So I just think that's the most important question we as women can ask is, why has this been happening in the first place? But I want to talk a little bit about, I'm like shaking a little. So I just like feel so much heart about this. And okay, so one of the things I want to say is, you know, we're in this culture and society that honors the masculine powers more than the feminine powers. I freaking bow to the divine masculine power in my life. Like in myself and in the men that are around me that I love and that have been such strong forces in my life. I honor them so deeply and I need them. So this is not at all about bashing or demonizing the masculine.
No, we love, like we love men, like we don't want to do without them, you know, like, so yeah.
But this conversation is about highlighting that we all have been, men and women have been taught to squish the feminine within because it's so powerful. And that power is scary for a lot of people. The emotion is scary for a lot of people.
And I think it's confusing to men too, right? It's confusing and mysterious and not well understood, right?
Yeah, but that's only because men think that they need to be in, so I was thinking about this, like one of the first ways that men experience power is in control. That's number one. But when control, like ultimately the feminine is uncontrollable. So if a man ultimately can't control a woman in that moment, meaning like his role is not to be in leadership, sometimes we need to just express, and our emotions are crazy and all over the place. So when a man can't be in control, then the next best thing that he can step into is the divine witness. So it's just as powerful as control is to move away from creating the safe container of leadership to just witnessing and rising up to the occasion to handle whatever is being expressed within the feminine. So think of like children. All children, men, boys and girls, are in their feminine. They're wild and free. They're emotional. They're working with their impulses. There's no control. You know, there's not really a lot of self-control. They're fully they're operating their feminine energy. And they do best when there's guidance. That's divine masculine. They do best when there's boundaries, divine masculine. They do best when there's like order and structure in their life, divine masculine. And sometimes we can't control them. You know, like sometimes they are literally throwing a fit. And you can get upset at that, or you can witness it. Like rise to the occasion, like hold a big enough space. Don't get freaked out. This child is not going to, this child is throwing a fit. That's like the wild feminine coming out in many ways. And so the next best thing for the divine masculine to step into is just witnessing and being this divine container to. So the reason that men get confused is they don't know that it's just as powerful to just sit back, watch, and witness. And that we crave that as much as we crave like sort of their leadership and them in control. And I always say like divine masculine is control. The control of the divine masculine is not suppression. It's like I want to be led in relationship. I want to be with a man, let's just say even in bed, in my sexual relationship with my partner. I don't really want to be in control most of the time. But I'm not going to surrender my control to somebody who doesn't have my highest potential in mind.
That's a great point.
I will only surrender. I want to surrender to somebody, but I'm only going to do that if I know he has my highest potential in mind. So that's the gift of the divine masculine, is they have the inherent wisdom to take a woman out of her head and into her body and really like support her to step into her full power. So control embodied in a man is a beautiful thing, but only when he's operating with integrity and honor and dignity and respect. So I'm just going to be free with this. I don't know. I'm going to go all over the place and it's disorganized and whatever.
Yeah, this isn't like an organized thing where I don't even know if this is, I'm hoping it's going to be helpful for people. But yeah, we're trying to get this organized. And that's why we're doing this, because we need some feedback from you guys.
I just need to express myself.
Yeah,
like sometimes before something is organized, it just needs to, it's like just stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
I stream of consciousness. I just did it
she
out
has this
here.
And
now it's
so we're doing this to try to get organized. Someone wants me to bring Mark Rosenfeld back. I miss him. It's only been 2 days. We did a live stream with him Friday. He's coming. He's flying out here in a couple weeks, and we're both going to be filming some stuff with him. So tell him, he has a channel. Go on his channel and tell him he needs to come back. I would love to have him back. We love Mark. When people openly make negative comments about someone's appearance, how do you not let it affect you? What a great question. I get that all the time. I wouldn't say all the time, but I get comments like that, and I'd be lying if I said that it didn't affect me. I try to not give it energy, and I'm just if it's something that's just straight out abusive, I obviously, I try to not give it energy. But if I'm a human, of course, I'd be lying to say that doesn't sting. It doesn't it doesn't have an effect on me. Do you have any thoughts on that? I would say the less energy you give it, the better. That's just number one.
That's the biggest thing I've learned from Helena, and spending so much time with her is she's the master of the law of attraction. And part of what I've learned from her about that is it's just she doesn't put energy into things that don't make her feel good. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've learned is if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't excite, then it's just
if I don't want I don't want a repeat of it in my experience, I don't give it any energy.
Nothing. Totally neutral emptiness. And sometimes I'll spiral into it. I'll freak out about something or get upset or flustered. And it's so funny because sometimes, your friends will meet you there and you'll kind of bash around a little bit at that same energy. And Helena's just anytime I go there, she's
I'm just neutral. I don't go there with you. Not because I don't want to. I'm just not available to that at that moment. I'm on a different wavelength. Yeah. And I'm just not available to it. So I stay here, and then before you know it, she's right back up here, just within minutes.
She's not absorbing my stuff.
That's
so then it's just going back into me, and I'm like, ooh, this doesn't feel good.
That's what it
and
is.
I more quickly want to shift out of it because she's this mirror that's not absorbing. It's just anyway.
I think coaching, you get, the more, because you can't, you have to have really straight, you have to, you can't get pulled into all these dynamics you just would get totally drained. So I think naturally I'm just kind of more neutral, but it's great because then it's people, have to rise to that wavelength or they can't, they won't be around you, right?
You're unavailable to a certain frequency. And that's what, the Elevated Woman, which is my whole brand and business, is it's you operate at a certain frequency. And so you initiate and activate people to meet you where you're at, but you're also just simply not available. Most likely none of you guys are gonna, most likely you guys are not going to wake up tomorrow on the street. You're not gonna wake up homeless tomorrow morning. And that's just because it's not in your consciousness. It's not, you're not available. You don't even think about it. So we just apply that same principle to money and relationship and love. You're not available to be. I've never been cheated on, and I never will be. And I've never even thought that would ever happen to me. And I'm been so unavailable to that my whole life. It's not in my consciousness. Just being homeless.
Yeah, I can't ever imagine that happening. With
So it's we make it so complex. What we want is hard to get. It's just it's really about the energy that you're available to. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. This video is, I know, sorry, I had to reach, I'm having bad allergies today. This video is great. I can't wait to rewatch. I'm obsessed with learning more about operating feminine energy. Good. Okay. I'm glad you guys like this. We honestly didn't even know if anyone would be interested. And this is very just kind of impromptu and last minute. Does drinking wine and eating meat harm the feminine? Oh, what an interesting question. Do you have any thoughts on that? I'm sure you do.
Frequency is the feminine. So feminine is energy. And the feminine, everything around us is the feminine because it's energy. Everything we see is energy and that's the feminine. So if you're constantly eating McDonald's hamburgers, you're ingesting an energy that's at a lower frequency. It's not as elevated. It's not as pristine and refined. If you're constantly getting effed up, then that's an energy that it's a choice of bringing a certain energy into your body. We go out, we're a vortex of love and light, and we have so much fun. And we attract really high quality experiences. Sometimes we'll drink, we'll have some wine. I don't personally love to drink a lot because I like to stay at a certain frequency, and alcohol brings me down. But at the same time, the feminine is also about experience. So if you're to rob yourself of certain things that you want, then let's get into this content.
Yeah. And I would say just one thing with that is like, is your intention to numb yourself out because you're stressed out like that? Or do you just want to have fun and have a glass of wine because you're free flowing? And like, what's the intention behind it is what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to talk about this really quick. This is super key. I've been trying to say it and then I get distracted. Do you want to address?
No, go ahead.
That we live in this society, obviously, where we're expected to be of a certain standard in terms of body weight, image, beauty, blah, blah, blah. And it's fine, but what has happened is like, think of all the diets that you've seen, all the fads, all the workout routines. Everything it's all about structure and rigidity. Like so many diets out there are so amped up in their structure and rigidity, which is masculine energy. So as women, we're expected to, we take on these diet and exercise routines that are literally the opposite of our essence and our nature. Like I've done this so much. I used to do this so much in my life, like taking on I would just start to expect myself to, I'd write out everything I was going to eat that year. I would write out my options for meals, and then I would try to stick to it. Or I would write out how many miles I would run a week. And what happens is when you have these rigid expectations for yourself, for your body, and for your intake of food, you're literally suppressing your feminine energy. You are pushing down on your power as a woman when you expect yourself to stay in these rigid routines. So it's really detrimental to, I wrote yesterday, your rigid expectations of your body is a direct suppression of the feminine power within you. You are the source of the conquering of the goddess for as long as you fear the waves of your own expansion. So it's like we are naturally, the goddess energy it's a wave, and a wave is a pulsation. So it's expansion and contraction. So our bodies are going through that. Like right now, I was skinnier. I was like 5 pounds lighter probably a month and a half ago. But I call this my goddess body. And when I'm 5 pounds lighter, I call that my ballerina body. And like I'm in my expansion right now. And I'll go back to that contraction. But I have had to be okay that my body will expand in some moments. And maybe I'll gain 5 more pounds. But right now my mindset is like, it's always going to be a fluctuation. Why freak out when we're at a high
and give that energy
when we're going to go back down? Our bodies are going to,
that's the number one thing I learned from you. Well, probably the first thing I learned from you, because I'm like, I feel my body changing. I haven't been able to work out. I'm good. I'm like, I don't like this feeling. And she's like, life is this. Life is like this, right? Like, and you want to embrace it all. And that was very helpful. So Barb says, great topic. Can't wait to watch the replay. This is something I'd love to learn more about. Okay, I guess we'll keep this replay up then. We weren't really sure. My twin sister works with this guy. She likes him, thinks wouldn't be interested. I don't know how to tell her. She's overthinking. I just posted a video on how to stop overthinking. It's just like a couple minutes long. You might want to, it's like maybe within the last week I posted it. If you wanted to send that to her, it's just, I think that would be helpful. I shared a way to stop overthinking that it seems to be really helpful for everybody. Navita says, I feel tired after ingesting meat. I don't like the heaviness. Thanks for the response. Yeah, that's something to listen to. I mean, Anya's the expert at that. But if you feel tired and you feel heavy, you don't like how you feel after eating something, I mean, yeah, something to listen to, right? Yeah, it is. So I think it's really important not to get ahead of yourself. Like if you want to eliminate meat and alcohol for the rest of your life, the next step is not to eliminate it for the next 30 days. The next step is to keep eating it, but keeping so conscious of how it makes you feel that you bring that awareness into the experience. And over time, it's just something that you naturally avoid. Because you're listening to your body and you're on the same side. You're now operating on the same side as the goddess rather than against her. Because the goddess in you might still want to eat meat and drink alcohol.
The goddess in you might still want some of those experiences, but she might still be experimenting with that. But over time, that might not be something that she wants in the long run. But the best, and you have that awareness. Like, it sounds like you know that it's not the best thing for your body. But if you, okay, sorry.
Sorry not to get distracted by the comments. Yeah, what you taught me the other night when we were out at dinner and we like ordered a bunch of food, and she's like, we're gonna work on your mindset, and it was very helpful. And it was really fun too. She was, what was it? If you're trying to control and constrict and put these rigid external rules around, this is what I'm going to eat, this is not what I'm going to eat. It's like and I'm not going to probably say this exactly right, the feminine will rebel. If the masculine side of you is trying to control and put these rigid standards in place, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, eventually the feminine, like the ocean will storm, so to speak. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
okay.
Totally.
That's what comes to mind when I heard you say that. I find because I have to control inflammation, I pay attention to how food makes me feel. I find exercise and movement works the same. Yeah, so when I say pay attention to how you feel, not to necessarily eliminate, this is where Anya's perspective is so different than everything out there. And it's really like, she is, people talk about being like financially free. Like, I feel like anything I could spend whatever I want and it's no big deal. And nothing makes it like, people talk about being financially free. That's how Anya is with food, and she can literally eat anything she wants, and she has like the most beautiful, in my mind, perfect, flawless body, and she just eats all day long whatever she wants, because the way she does it is she's so conscious, and she's so like honoring of herself and her feminine energy. She has it down. So if you want to learn from anyone,
I had Cheetos 3 days ago.
just all day long, cookies, like whatever, and she's, literally like. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's because I tried. I'm very spiritual. I practice and teach yoga. And so I know the importance of nutrition. But for me, I know I needed to heal my relationship with food and my body first, because I have a longer term vision for my health and happiness. And that I want to have a very clean diet for the rest of my life. But I know in order to get to that place where I'm wanting on a regular basis only vegetable, just like the cleanest diet, I know that first I have to heal my relationship with food. And
it's a longer process right? We talked about this.
Transformation in a feminine way is not about the outcome. It's about who you become in the process. So it's not about the quick fix, because quick fix doesn't fix it in the long run. Like, you go back, you revert, because you're not actually listening to the goddess and transforming. You're not working with yourself at a deep level.
Yeah, that's the problem. And so, like, I would say about a month or two ago, I was thinking I was transforming my mindset and my relationship with my body and everything. But I think I was going for more quick fix. And then now with this injury or whatever is going on with me, it's literally forcing me to, what did you say? What you're going through now is you're training yourself to like set yourself up for the rest of your life, where hopefully I can turn things around.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like, if you're on a diet thing right now and you're wanting a certain outcome for 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, are you going to be able to sustain what you're doing right now for the next 60 years? That's the question. Because it's really like, you can, whatever you want is meant for you. If you want to feel good in your body, then that is available to you. But to get there and keep that, like, I used to worry that I would gain weight later in my life, because like, my mom struggled with her weight a lot. And I was like, well, after I have kids, like, will that change my body type and all this stuff? And now I'm like, no, because I don't really overeat anymore. And if I do overeat, I don't beat myself up. So let's just talk about some of the little key tips, if that works. So some of the things that just for implementation and practice is, one of the biggest things is not to control what you eat. And actually, like, I used to go to the coffee shop, and literally, when I was healing this actively, I would go to the coffee shop and get my favorite cookie, a brownie, and this little chocolate chip sea salt cookie all the same time. I would sit there, not be on my phone, and I would eat these 3 pastries all at the same time. But I would eat it slowly, not mindfully. I wasn't like, super mindful eating every single bite, but I was focused on how it was making me feel in my body. And I felt how after the first thing, I just felt the process of getting full. And then I felt the process of being really too full. And rather than beating myself up, I just consciously chose to say to myself, this is not connected to your worth. You can eat this and it's not going to, it doesn't make you more or less beautiful. What you eat, it does not make you more or less beautiful. And I just reprogrammed my mind to be okay with these moments that I felt really heavy and really full. I was like, it's fine. It doesn't mean anything about my beauty. It doesn't matter that I'm 10 pounds heavier than I want to be right now. It does not make any difference in my worth toward what I want. So that's step number one, really. And then, secondly, it's just like the retraining when you do feel too full, because sometimes I eat too much and I feel too full. You'll beat yourself up and you're like, I wish I didn't do that. Why did I do that? And it's like, rather than do that, just in that moment, choose, it's fine. It's not going to make a difference. I will feel okay in 30 minutes. I'm not going to feel this way. And next week, I'll probably feel really good in my body. Like, you just start to remember that whatever you're feeling right now in this moment, it's going to change because we're not stuck. We're not fixed. Like, your knees are hurting right now, but it's not fixed. Like, it will change. And then you focus on the transformation.
It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that way. So like, I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, you have to
choose to shift it. Yeah. So thanks for sharing your insight. I'm encouraged to use food to heal. Eating with others can be very healing. Food is medicine. Part of that relationship is how we bond with one another with food. Growing food can contribute to that relationship. Yeah. It's like that the other night when we went to that restaurant. Yeah.
And I think I think that what's different about the way I teach this stuff is it's like, I would not coach anybody to go on a diet to lose weight right now. I mean, I would say, like, if you really want to if you want to sustain your ideal body weight for the rest of your life, then this gets to be about your relationship with your feminine energy and your ability to, be in the roller coaster with it, if that makes sense.
Like, one thing she told me was like, don't go on a cleanse to compensate for the fact that you can't work out right now. Like, cause that's what I was doing. And I would start it. And then like halfway through the day, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, my body wants food. And I'd switch back to food. So she's like, don't tie in cleanse, diet, restricting anything with maintaining weight, losing weight, anything to compensate for the fact. Cause I was doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
And that I think was messing me up a little bit. Right.
Yeah. It's reverse psychology, I think, a little bit. Cause you have to go so far into the thing that you fear that it's no longer something you fear. And you realize that when you're 3 cookies in, like 3 massive, when you're 12 cookies in, and then you sit in that and you decide this is not making me more or less beautiful, then, so if you don't feel good about where you're at right now, the first step to shift how you look and your weight is to be okay with where you're at. Because if you're having a negative frequency circulate through your body about your body, then that's your number one energy. You're going to be generating more of that energy. So you have to just choose right now that what you want is available to you with wherever you're at. Like, you can attract your dream partner right now. It does not matter how much you weigh. They're not going to. It's all about how you feel. So if you choose to just work on your mindset first, then your body weight will follow. The goddess will follow. But
great question, Doreen. Great question.
Yeah, really good.
Does that answer it? Yeah, I always say you have to make peace with where you are before you get somewhere else. But even here, that I'm like, I'm just not there yet. I'm like, God, how am I gonna get there? Like, what would your advice be for someone? Like, it sounds like probably most of us who don't feel good about where they're at right now, and feel discouraged. Like, how do you get there?
I think it's just it really takes a lot of patience and committing to the longer. Do you have a longer term vision for yourself? Because I've been on this journey. It took me if I'm transparent, like, I'm going to do a course on this, we're going to do a training on this, but it's transparently, this is a 3-year journey plus. Like, I'm still on this every single day. But like 3 years ago, I started this process of I stopped exercising. I was like, I can no longer be addicted to this. I can no longer need this for my happiness and health. want to exercise because I want to enjoy it, not because I want to, not because I want to lose weight through it, not because I think I need to stay beautiful. And I started eating whatever I wanted without restricting and combating those thoughts that, you know, came up every time I was eating something that was making me feel heavier or whatever. Like this weekend, last night we ate a bunch of food. And I woke up and I was like, I was like, I was like, ooh, I don't feel good. And I was like, it's okay. It is okay.
Like what you told me once, she's like, how are you doing with everything? I'm like, well, I went out and we had this big dinner and dessert, drinks. You know, she's like, big nights are going to happen. You're not willing to eliminate going out to dinner and having fun, and you're not going to eliminate that from your life. That's part of life, right?
Your joy.
She said big nights with food and dessert and everything. Like that's going to happen. So don't cut those out now, because like what would life even be about?
How much can you enjoy that moment of indulgence? Because that's the goddess within you wanting to have a deep experience of pleasure. So when you empower yourself and let yourself have that moment with fullness, then, and you're like, you just go for it. There's no shame. Then you heal her and she starts to have a voice again and not be suppressed within you. And then she starts to come into balance truly, you know, and she doesn't need to binge every time, because you're not denying her of her pleasure. Because food is really like a way that we experience feminine energy. It's warm, it's nourishing, it feels comforting.
And we want to be filled up as women. We talked about that too.
We want to feel full. So food is like the easiest way to just come into our feminine energy. We get heavy. We feel like rooted and earthly and grounded. Those are all feminine energy qualities too, really.
So to me, it sounds like not even just deny yourself that, but to beat up on yourself when that happens, that can really kind of like mess with the wiring in your brain. I've been on this journey for the last 3 years. Had an operation in 2019. I've only been doing some walking to start with. Oh my gosh. When was that? End of 2013. I had some major surgeries. It took me 9 months to learn how to walk again. I was basically bedridden, trapped in a room for a long time because my legs and everything were totally kind of like reconstructed and everything. So I know how. What was helpful for me, I don't know if this might be a little off topic, was channeling my energy. That's when I really started my business and started writing and having that mental energy going somewhere to where I wasn't like watching TV all day or feeling depressed. I was like really channeling myself into something else. Maybe that'll help if you're not able to like actually work out or walk right now. Right?
Yeah, totally. So let's just go over a few last little quick things, tips and tricks and everything. And you feel free to ask me questions. This is really helpful I'm glad it's helpful for you guys. I feel like, you know, I have a lot to say on this, so I appreciate I know it's not necessarily that organized, but there's so much, and this is such a key important thing. I just truly believe that we're working against ourselves when we try to control our body and our diet. And the first step to come into permanent healing is to just let go of the control and know that your body doesn't want to be controlled. The goddess doesn't want to be controlled. So why are you trying to control her? Like that is suppressing and disempowering you. You are the source of the suppression of the feminine for as long as you're like locking yourself into this rigidity. And I promise, I promise you'll find the balance over time, over 3-4 years, if you just commit to the longer term process of loving the journey and loving the fluctuations. Like I used to be 15 pounds heavier than I am, and it was hard to believe that. And I still looked skinny, but I hated the way it felt. But that was when I committed. I was like, I want to feel good in my body, but I'm not doing the quick fix. I will get there, but I'm committed to doing it in a way that will last for the rest of my life, because I no longer want to be, I don't want to be controlled by food, and I don't want to be controlled by exercise. So I think the last couple little tips, let me look at my notes before we end, but is just to, hold on. Yeah, it's just really to know that when you are trying to lock down and control your body, you're working against yourself, and it's not ultimately going to create the results that you want. If you're in a rigid diet, you may get what you want, but are you able to sustain it? And is it actually making you happy? And there's a way to get what you want in a way that's joyful and pleasurable and honors the goddess along the way. And lastly, just like or I'll look at my notes, but just like on a daily basis, when you have those moments of like, I just promise you, I had to do this today, where my body, I'm like, ooh, I don't feel as tight. I don't feel as good. But I'm like, this is gonna shift. This will shift, and I'm just embracing where I'm at right now. And this is still beautiful. Like men, you get to just bring more to your relationship when you're more expansive and goddessy and full. Your partner gets to experience that, like experience. I had a guy, I was on a date today, and I got, and he was like, your body is so curvy. And I was like, thank you. You know, and it just felt so good to feel his hands on my waist and to feel like allow and accept that love, and to feel like even in this moment that I don't feel good, I do feel good. And to allow the puffier self to be as beautiful and as powerful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I had this was back in 2009. I don't know why do I remember that year? Because it was so profound. I was just like with someone at the time, and I was, I'm just like so bloated today. I'm not feeling good. I feel so bloated, or it was something like that. He's like, that's more of you. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's more of you. So it's so funny what we think is like, oh my God, like I don't want a guy to like touch my stomach right now or something, right?
Yeah.
And it's like so not the way we think it is. It's so funny. Oh my goodness, yes, when I tried to control my body earlier this year, I made myself ill again. Wow. Trying to push working out too much, and my fear of hidden intention when I didn't admit to myself. Yeah. Wow. I was actually supposed to be somewhere 3 minutes ago. Oh. So do you mind if we kind of, can we do like a part 2 of this or something?
Well, we're going to do like 7 of these.
Okay. Yeah, good. Let's finish out your closing thoughts.
No, I really have that much more.
Okay.
Yeah. Just stop, it's just the first thing you can do. I think this is the very beginning of this journey. I think for a lot of people is just notice the conversation, and notice every time you lock down and get rigid and have these high expectations, and just start to soften around that, like combat the negative thoughts, because if you're staying there and you're feeding the negative thoughts, then they're just going to continue. So just like choose to be neutral, choose to find the opposite energy and play with it. And then just that'll start to become your life, and I promise your body will start to shift, but it will be a longer process, but it's permanent.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Yes. Okay, so we gotta run. We thought this was gonna be like 20 minutes.
I know.
But yeah, if you guys have more questions, once this post, put them in the comment section and we'll go through everything. So we love you guys. So thankful for this topic. It was synchronicity. So much love to you both. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yes, we love you guys. We will definitely be doing more of this. So let us know what specifically would be helpful for you. That would be amazing. So we love you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you again soon.